What's going on?
Macaroni.
Dude, freaking Friday.
Hey, hey.
All day long, baby.
Let's get it.
Yeah, Friday.
This Grand Rising, exciting day. Hey, who
Morning.
wants to start off our morning crushing it with our seller close number one? We're getting this dialed.
Thanks for thanks for breaking that down for me, Zach. Here's what I'd like to do. I can only be so accurate without seeing the home. Let's set up a time this week where I can swing by. We could take a look at the property together, and from there, I'll be able to put together what I call a PLP. This will simply give you all the options for the sale of your home. Does that sound fair enough?
There we go.
Misaligned? I
From
don't know.
there, and then guys, this is the really important part, and everybody can just remember this part. Like, this is your ending. It's putting the control back in their lap. From there, you can decide if selling makes any
From
sense.
there, you can decide if selling makes
Fair
any
enough.
sense. Fair enough.
Let's say you already know they're a hot seller, so you're not going to say if selling makes any sense. And you're like, from there, you can decide which option makes the most sense. Fair enough. So you can edit that, a bunch of different ways, but the point of it is that we're putting the control like back in their lap. And that's what makes them feel so comfortable, about it. I'm saying, hey, Reza, you get to decide which direction we go. Fair? Fair. Goal. And like it's giving them like that little reassurance, once again, that you're in control, not me. I'm just bringing you the options. Okay, who else wants to shoot at seller close number one?
I'll go for it.
Get it.
Okay. All right, Zach, I appreciate you taking the time to break that down for me. This is what I'd like to do. I can only be so accurate without seeing the home. So let's set up a time this week where I can swing by, take a quick look at the property. Then I'll be able to put together what I call our PLP. And this will simply provide you with all the options for the sale of the home. From there, you can decide if selling makes any sense. Fair enough?
Fair enough. Love it.
Awesome. So what about this close under seller close too? Is that like you just add that to the end of it or just go
Seller
into
close
the
two is
time?
a whole different close than number
Uh,
one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's like, hey, Dan, I have an amazing understanding, okay, of everything that you're looking for in the sale of your home. I think you gave me total clarity during this conversation. I mean, are you ready to hear the next steps?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first thing I'd like to do, Dan, is come by, see the home, and we're going to do what I call a seller discovery. Okay. What this is going to do is show you every single option possible for the sale of your home and give you total clarity over what your next steps are going to be. What day this week do you have 20 minutes for me?
Man, can you come over today?
So you can see like that one's for if you got somebody who's like they're rolling. They probably called you, Dan, and literally said, hey, Dan, we're looking to sell our house tomorrow. Like they're like the hot, somebody. So it's rare that we come across that person, but it does happen. Typically with that one, it'd be like an elderly person. Not to put down elderly or anything, but it is. I think they're just like hyped and excited and they're ready for this change of life. And, they're a little bit sweeter to talk to on the phone.
They've
But
got
yeah,
cash.
get cash. Yeah, they're hyped. Okay,
And
who else wants
so,
to go at number two?
No.
Or sorry, seller close
No.
number one. Sorry. Dan,
Yeah.
Dan got me on number two. So
on that.
Zach, would seller close number two, would that apply to the guy you talked to yesterday? The one that's like, get a pen and paper?
50-50.
50-50?
He was like he was good, like he wants to sell him, but he wasn't necessarily like I have a feeling I'm gonna call him today and he's gonna be like, get me an offer. And we're gonna be battling that objection.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
kind of copy paste. We did live calling on absentee owners yesterday, with the ISAs. And I got really lucky. And the first person that I answered the phone was like a good was like a good seller. And I was like, hey, would you sell your property here? And he goes, no, do you have a pen and paper? And I've had people say that before and then go like, write down FUC and like literally have to write out like screw off, essentially. But he like literally was like gave me two addresses and was like, I'll sell these over a national city. One's a duplex, one's a condo. And I was like, oh, Great. Are they rental properties? Yeah, they're rental properties. They have tenants? Yeah, one has 2 tenants, one has Section 8 tenant. Like it was just like bing, 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 bing. I was like, why do you want to sell them? It's just time. Like he's just tapped out. Time to let him go. Like, would you 1031? No, I don't want to take anything else. Like, I just want to cash out, and move on. Paid off properties, good to go. So it would have been a 50-50. He wasn't a very exciting energy on the other end of the phone. So you got to make sure you match their energy. Okay, who else is going on seller close number 1?
Okay, Zach, thank you for breaking that down for me. I can only be so accurate without seeing your home. So this is what I'd like to do. Let's set some time where I could swing by this week, take a look at your house, and from there I could put together what we call our PLP. This will lay out every single option for the sale of your home. From there, you can decide if selling makes any sense. Sounds good?
Sounds good. Okay. Let's get our seller close number 1. Who wants to handle our first objection? What's a PLP?
It's a
Personalized.
package.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Kim.
thanks, Michelle. I like to say that it's a personalized package we made that's going to provide you with the best value and information that you could have.
Love it. What are we selling? Always.
Options.
Great. How do we let them know that we have?
Just gives
How do we
you-
let them know that we have options?
You got to
With
tell
the
them.
PLP.
You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them you got all the options. So just remember that constantly in your head. We're never selling the fam transformation. We're never selling our experience. Okay, we're never selling like any of that. It's always the options. So it's not let me come over and give you the perfect plan for selling your home. Okay, how am I even supposed to know what the perfect plan is? Off a 10-minute phone call? No chance. We love to pretend like we know the perfect plan 2 minutes into a phone call with somebody. Not happening. Maybe if you had like an hour, sure. Then maybe we could be a little bit more like that. But it's always, always, always the options. Good job, Kim. That's a good answer. Dan, what's a PLP?
PLP is just a detailed package that I put together specifically for your property and in your hyper local market or community. And basically, it's just going to give you a lot of great detailed information and a lot of facts for the area and help you make the best decision that's going to work the best for you.
Love it. What's the one word that we're missing out of these, though?
Options.
Didn't I say options?
No, you said a lot of other amazing words. It sounded
Options,
like an packet.
options.
Yeah, it still sounded like an amazing packet. Don't get me wrong. We just throw in there. And that's why you guys, I try to make it so easy on myself to make it easy on them. Hey, Emily, PLP, great question. It's actually this amazing packet we throw together. Okay, it's customized directly for you. And what it does, it includes every single option possible for the sale of your home. It's just going to give you total clarity over what your next steps may be. What day this week do you have 20 minutes for me? Does Wednesday still work to come by? Like whatever you want that close on the back end to be, but like make your life easy. Just like if you simplify things down, okay, I just telling this to somebody the other day, it's the one thing that I think I do extremely well, like a lot better than other people in the industry, is just simplified. Oh my God, Zach, how do we sell our house right now in this market? Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Actually, all we do is we go through a PLP. Okay, we're going to go through a step-by-step plan and all the different options you have. And from there, you're going to have total clarity over what your next steps are. What day works to go over all this? Tuesday? We love to deep dive on things on the phone. Deep dive in person. When you have them in front of you and you can actually explain all this information now. But on the phone, keep it as simple as humanly possible, on yourself. Reza, what's a PLP?
I'm glad you asked, Zach. A PLP is the work that I put together specifically regarding your property to show you all the options that you have when it comes down to listing your property. This goes into extensive details and showing you how we will promote the property and what you can ultimately expect working with us. Does that sound fair?
What's the one word that we used in there?
That we used wrong, or do we use?
What's the one word that we don't want to have in there? My bad. The rest of it was
Oh,
really good. What's the one word? I'm getting us out of this habit, all of
Free
us.
listing packet.
Listing. I'm not coming over to list your house.
okay.
Coming over to break down the options. That word listing means contract. Like in their brain. We know it doesn't. We know that that's just what we do. We list a house. We list it on the MLS. In their brain, it means contract. But good job. That was a really good one. Just watch that word listing. That's one we just want to be careful of. So a lot of people will say no just because the word listing is in there. Because how many people do we hear on the phone say, no, Rez, I don't want to list my house?
Right.
And then freaking a month later, it's on the MLS. That word is just like a trigger word, for people. They think it means contract, it means commitment. Like a listing does sound like a pretty serious word, if you think about it. Or it's just like, hey, awesome. Hey, Reza, I'm so glad you asked that. I love that intro that you did there. Hey, Reza, so glad you asked that. PLP is actually this amazing packet we throw together. Gives you every single option for the sale of your home. And it's going to give you total clarity on why a lot of our clients choose to work with us at FAM. So that's adding like your part on the end. That was a little bit more like about us. But once again, we just want to be careful. We don't want the close to be about why you're going to work with us. We want it to be about the options for your home. But good job. That was a good one.
So real quick, Zach, aren't we the ones that are separating ourselves by offering better options?
Yeah, which is why we need to focus on the options.
Right. But I mean, we are tying into the fact that okay, so let's put it this way. I always avoid saying I dealing with a client and always say we to build to kind of reemphasize on the fact that they have a whole team behind them serving and supporting them along the way, which should be enough of a distinguishing factor, right? But are we saying that we're not emphasizing on the fact that like who we are and how we're separating ourselves from others?
It depends on who you have on the other end of the phone, but the average person, I do not hype up our team to get in the house. I don't need to. Like that's what we do in the house is go over like why we're so different than every single other person, that they'd even think about talking to. If you need the extra kick, like they're pushing it down, sure. If they're like, oh no, Reza, we're not, we're okay right now. We're going to talk to a few other agents, or something like that. But like, I want that in my pocket. I still want that in my tool belt where like, I'm telling you, like I always focus on the options. If they get kickback, like, oh, Zach, well, no, like we actually have this neighborhood agent, she sells everybody home. Like, hey, Reza, I totally get that. Okay. Every neighborhood has a neighborhood agent. Okay. The one difference between that neighborhood agent and us, okay, my business partner, Frances, she's been in business for the team and then I'll go down and like really hype up and sell the team. But in the beginning, when I'm just shooting for my first appointment, I'm literally just strictly focused on how we are the ones who have every single option. And I say that, you guys know, so every time I say option, I go, every single option. Like I really emphasize it. I pause it. I slow it down. Like I make sure they're hearing that. I don't just, every single option that we have. Every single option for the sale of your home. I slow it down. I make sure that they're really hearing that part because that's what they want. They don't. Somebody may say, "Hey, Reza, I want the top agent in the area to come over." Perfect. Hype up the team. Hype up the programs. Like dive deep on it. But like, we can ask Franny because she just hopped on. Franny, how many of your listing appointments are booked by hyping up like your track record and the team and all that, or how much of it is just like I have the best options? And getting them comfortable.
It's just about options and making them comfortable. 100%.
100%. Telling you guys, if you constantly just remember in your head the options and making people comfortable, like you will be the one to get in the house. 100%. Telling you, because most of the people, the second I say that we're the top producing team here, we're one of 236 mega teams in the US, and we have 16 live listings, we do all this stuff, they think I'm going to come over and give this gnarly presentation and sign them to a contract. So always focus on the options unless they ask you or give you kickback. Somebody asked me the other day on the phone who Glennis went and showed around Escondido. She was like, what separates you from Zillow and Realtor.com agents? And I was like, whoa. I was like, I don't even think I've been asked that before, like ever in my head. Then I deep dove. I went, oh, well, because we're a whole team, they're like a showing agent, and I went down this thing. We have these buyer benefits, and and I picked my two. I said the handyman, and I said the home warranty because she's moving from Colorado. I'm sure home warranties up in the snow are much, pretty important, from where they are down here. So like hit them, and then boom, she was good to go. So then I hyped us up really hard, but it's because she asked, so I waited for her to ask if that makes sense. Cool. I know it's backwards from like every other script that's out there. I'm telling you, options, 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 options. People go to Best Buy versus the Radio Shack down the street because Best Buy has more options. That's it. Let's see, Mr. Tristan. What's a PLP?
Yeah, glad you asked, Zach. PLP is a customary packet that we put together, and it gives you every single option for the sale of your home. How does that sound?
You're good. How does that sound? Good one. Okay. So let's just read it a little bit. You had it all the way halfway there. Hey, Tristan, so glad you asked that. Okay. PLP, it's actually this custom packet that we put together. It gives you every single option for the sale of your home, and it's going to give you total clarity over what your next steps may be. Does Tuesday or Thursday work better? So it's just covering the options that it's going to give them for the sale of their home, and then clarity. People love that word clarity. You hit those two things and keep it nice and simple and short, you're on it. You're getting it. Because they're just curious what it is. That's a buying question. It means they already want you to come over. They're just curious what a PLP is. And I'm just letting you guys know that. If somebody asks what a PLP is, they're not objecting you. That's a buying question. That means in their brain, they want you to come to the house, and they're just trying to qualify it to themselves on why you should come to the house. So they ask what's a PLP, that means you did a good job. Like you're sold. There's no more selling here. Somebody says what's a PLP, you already sold them on coming to the house. You're now just giving a little bit more comfortability and value, behind what you're bringing. Mr. Chase, what's a PLP?
Hey, great question, Zach. PLP is a custom packet that myself and my team put together specifically for you and your home. It goes over all the options possible for the sale of your home. So from there, you can decide if selling makes sense and which option makes the most sense for you. I'd love to come over and break that down a little bit further for you. Would you have time possibly tomorrow afternoon, maybe around 3 o'clock?
Good one. I like that one. Ms. Emily, what's a PLP?
Great question, Zach. So our PLP is our personalized packet that we put together. It simply states out all the options you're going to have to sell your home, so you have full clarity moving forward. Do you have time on Tuesday at 3 p.m. for me to swing by and take a look at the property with you?
Good job. Biggest thing I want to highlight on there is the speed. It's like this consistent, good, solid tone. AKA, I've said this 100 times. It's
And
like
you kept it simple. It was simple and short.
Nice and simple. Hey, Dan. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have you over, but we definitely want to finish up work to the house before we have anybody over at the house.
Okay, I can appreciate that. What were you thinking of doing?
Well, we're currently doing the master bedroom, and then I bet you the front yard probably needs a little bit of love, and then we probably need to do a little bit of work to the kitchen as well.
Okay, all right. And any other things that you'd like to do?
I don't know. That's just what we had off the top of our head. That's what's on the checklist.
Okay. Are you thinking of doing the yard yourself? Because I've got a pretty good vendor list of guys to help out with the front yard, and painters and handymen too.
Well, I'm not going to do it myself, but we had a few people that we were going to interview, just to go and do it, like landscapers.
Okay. Yeah, when we get off the phone, I'll definitely shoot you over my contacts for them. I don't know.
We're good. How are we turning it into getting in the house? There we go.
I'm just trying to build a relationship with you, talking more. So
you're good in the beginning. You built it by having the guy.
Yeah. Well, I know, but it's like, Well, Zach, what I'd love to do is come by and stop and check out, what you want to do to the property and maybe give you some advice. And there may be some things that you might want to do and some other things that might not be worth it for you to do.
Totally. So you started off perfect. I don't want you to change anything about your intro of going, awesome. What are you planning on doing? Inquiring. Oh my God, that's great. The master bathroom. Woo. Okay, whatever. Like, do your thing, get there. And then right at the end, you're like, hey, so who do you have doing all the work on the house? That'd be a great question. Okay, to ask. Oh, well, we just have these few, contractors, whatever. And then instead of just going to, we have a pretty good vendor list because it's more than pretty good. It's freaking awesome. We go, hey, Dan, I'm not really sure if this is for you, but a lot of my clients, they really enjoy just a quick swing by. It takes about 10 minutes. And what I can do is actually just point out a few areas that would boost the equity of your home and also some upgrades you may even not need to do, because they may not, boost for the sale. If you have 10 minutes on Tuesday, I'll already be up towards the neighborhood, and we can just do a quick walkthrough together. Would you be open to something like that?
Sure.
But once again, we're making it not sound like this big commitment. It's like, hey, I just come over and help you make sure, you're putting your money in the right place. But it only works if you line it up the way you did by asking the questions first. Don't change anything about your intro. Like the intro into it was money. And then at the very end, just ask for commitment outside of only the vendor list. Unless they just totally say no. And they're like, oh, Dan, yeah, we're good. Awesome. Well, hey, I have them all in this really good list that I give to a lot of our clients. And then you can give them the vendor list, and just send it. But at least shoot for your in-house at least once, after that. Because you guys are really good at that. Like walking around the house, making sure they don't spend $80,000 on a hot tub. Okay. It's probably not necessary. Okay. It's probably much better spending 20, okay, on like completely redoing the front yard instead of an $80,000 hot tub, whatever it is. So like you guys are really saving them from just blowing money, out the window.
And also keep in mind, sometimes they don't want to do anything. Sometimes it overwhelms them thinking about painting or bathrooms or any of that. So that's where inquiry comes in to see like what they want to do. And you just make suggestions, because we've lost a couple people sometimes when we say too many things and they're in overwhelm mode and they're like, I don't want to do anything. They're stuck.
And I even
it sounds like we're connecting at the perfect time. Can I ask you a little bit about what your plans are for renovating your home?
Yeah, we're gonna do the garage was the big one. The garage is completely original. We're gonna do a little bit of work to the kitchen. We've already done the counters, and everything like that, but now we just need to match up the cabinets. And then we're probably, I don't know, we're thinking about either putting new carpet in or maybe doing like the laminate. Somebody told us that people just rip out the carpet anyways.
Okay, wonderful. Those sound like really great ideas. What I'd like to do for you is connect you with my curated list of resources and their subcontractors that we've used before and could highly recommend. Well, actually even get you potentially discounts on, each job. But what I'd really like to do is come over and run through these upgrades with you, make sure that you're putting your money in the right place and you're going to get your equity that you put in back through the sale of your home. When do you have time, maybe later this week, that we could get together and run through these? Does that sound like a plan?
I like it, but let's chop out the vendor list and move that until we get some sort of response from them, because it can just feel a little long. Just not as simple. Remember, we want to mega simplify down for people, because the second they feel it's complicated, their reaction is to get off, or to not want to deal with it. So I love that. Hey, looks like we're connecting at the perfect time. What are you planning to do to the house? Money. Okay, we dive in. Oh yeah, wow, you're right. I mean, it does sound like doing the master bedroom, in the kitchen would definitely boost the value. Let me ask you, do you have any other plans, for anything else you're doing to the home? But then shoot for your appointment. If they say no, then shoot for the vendor list. You can use your vendors as part of it. Hey, Chase, I'm not sure if this is for you, but we've actually created a team of trusted partners. Okay, this is handyman, contractors, painters. And what they do is they give all of our clients really good discounts, just because we utilize them so much and we know the quality of work, that's going to come with it. If you have 10 or 15 minutes for me this week, and I'd love to take a quick walk around the house with you, maybe we can potentially save you some money while you're still boosting your equity. Would you be open to something like that? Or
Yeah, that sounds great. What kind of experience again do you have with this?
but just the only thing, just think about it, simplify it down. Think like literally picture you're talking to like an 18-year-old that just bought a house or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Do
just
this every day.
really,
You'd be
yeah.
really lucky
We have
for
to
me to come
simplify
in
it
and help
down.
you.
We have to simplify it down for ourselves, and we're the licensed agents. So imagine where we, what their brains are comprehending. Okay, everybody take a minute.